Meeting to order. We're back from the recess for the closed door. We now reconvene the City Commission in order to adjourn.
That's correct.
Okay, so at this time we adjourn the City Commission meeting, and I will ask that we now are going into a closed door session under the CRA auspices. I'll ask for a roll call.
Yeah. This is the commencement of the 6 o'clock CRA monthly meeting.
Okay, we have roll call, please. Here.
Yes.
Here.
Here. Here. Here.
Here. There's all present. So at this time, we will. You want to read something else for?
Yeah, Mayor. I just want to indicate for the public that's here that the CRA will be recessing to an executive closed-door session to discuss the case of Lisa Bright versus the City of Boynton Beach and Boynton Beach Community Redevelopment Agency. The city actually is not a party to the lawsuit. It was dismissed a long time ago, but that is the style of the case. The closed-door session will last approximately 30 to 45 minutes. In attendance will be the members of the board, the executive director, myself, and special counsel Lyman Reynolds, who's the litigation defense counsel for the CRA in that litigation. At the conclusion of the closed-door session, we will come back down here and resume the regular CRA monthly meeting.
At this time, we will recess for the CRA closed door. Please go upstairs. Worker, we're running behind 10 minutes. Come on. We're going to reconvene the CRA meeting and come back from the closed door session. At this time, I will adjourn the closed door session and move on to the regular meeting. We'll have a invocation by Board Member Woodrow Hay, if he would do so for me, and pledge allegiance to the flag, if you please rise.
Let us pray. Father, we come with thanksgiving on our hearts, thanking you for another opportunity in this free land. We thank you that we are able to gather together here and make the decision that would be for the betterment of this great city of Boynton Beach. Thank you for our staff, for our executive director, Vivian Brooks. We thank you for this commission board, this board here, the CRA. We pray that you will continue to lead us and guide us with wisdom, that we may make the right decision that will be pleasing in your sight. And we'll be so careful to give you all the honor and all the praise. We ask this in your Savior's name. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Is there have agenda approval? Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda? I have something late here. Vivian, Ms. Brooks.
Yes, we have an addition to the agenda. We have a short sale, consideration of short sale for terms for a happy recipient, Christian Gallagher. That's item new business B.
New business B?
Yes.
Okay.
Chair, I also would like to pull consent B for a slight correction.
Consent item B, you said?
Yeah, consent item B. I want to pull that for a slight correction.
Anything else? Is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, show the motion unanimous. Okay, informational items and disclosures by board members and the CRA staff. Start with Executive Director Vivian Brooks. Do you have anything?
Yes, I have to disclose that under the consideration of the RFQ for legal services, that my daughter's boyfriend works at Gray Robinson, but in a different department, bankruptcy. So,
Okay. Mr. Kara George?
I do not have any disclosures under informational items. I would like to wish one of our city's firefighters, Adam Turi, a congratulations this coming Saturday. He will be entering wedded bliss, and he's definitely marrying up. And other than that, I don't have any other informational items.
Board Member Fitzpatrick?
Nothing to report.
Vice Mayor, Board Member Hay?
I would like to say that I have enjoyed myself on vacation, and the big news that I have is that I will be a new papa.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Grandpa.
Grandpa.
You better be Grandpa.
I just want to make sure I got your attention.
Number two.
Number two.
Board Member Merker?
Nothing. Nothing at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Board Member Buchanan?
Nothing.
I just will announce that I did meet with David Camelier and Howard, and I don't know Howard's last name. Canner, the two people that are trying to negotiate we're trying to get that law firm on that the Bank of America property, and I did meet with them, trying to get them together to see if we could work something out, and it's all still in discussion. So anything breaks, I'll let you know, but we got our fingers crossed. That's all I have. Announcements and awards. I'm going to get that from staff.
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you.
Peter's going to come up and talk to you about stage left.
Okay. Good evening.
My name is Peter Pagliaro. I'm the artistic director of the new community theater here in Boynton Beach, Stage Left Theater. We came in January, produced two quick shows, one in February, one in April. Very successful. We actually drew people from Hollywood all the way to Jupiter, so we were thrilled about that. Right now we're in rehearsals for the opening show of our season, which is a musical, I Do, I Do. That opens November 8th. We have a very aggressive season this year. We're producing 5 shows, and that's not usually the norm with the community theater, but we're really excited about it, and we have everything organized and outlined, and we will be producing shows from November right through May. And then during the summer, we will do our youth programming and involve children and hopefully have workshops and children's plays as well. So that's where we're at right now. We're doing some aggressive things also inside the space. We're building some risers and hopefully putting real theater seats in there. We did get some complaints from our patrons over the first 2 shows that they had difficulty seeing. So we made a decision, and all the money we took in from our first 2 productions, we're putting back into the space to make things a lot better. We're thrilled to be here. We're getting an unbelievable response. We're involving everyone in the community. We are an all-volunteer group, every person. We have no payroll, and we have literally about 300 people now, Boynton Beach residents that are part of our group, part of our mailing list, our volunteers. They're actually working our shows, ushering, working backstage, even acting on stage. So we're really thrilled. We're getting great community support all the way around.
Chair.
You have, I notice here on your handout, you have like 5 plays programmed,
Yes.
and they run from January through May?
November through May.
November through May.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. And the first one starts in November.
Yes.
Got you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Chair,
Yes.
if I may, Peter, I know last season with the 2 productions, you tied in with some businesses in the community to kind of do dinner and theater and that
Right.
type of thing.
Right.
I hope you continue that. In fact, I encourage you to do that again. because we want to have as much businesses involved with the theater, to have it as a fun date night type of thing,
Right.
dinner and the theater. And the response, I am one of the people that are on your mailing list, and in fact, Board Member Fitzpatrick helped you with a lot of
Yes.
the early development of your stage, and he's to be commended for his wonderful carpentry skills.
Absolutely.
But I will tell you that in my community, there's a lot of people that have gone to those first two productions and are very supportive. And I wish you the best with this new season. And I just want to see you continue those business relationships, because we're trying to get more of those businesses in the area that are close to the theater,
Sure.
so that it makes it synergy, there.
Right.
And I want you to continue that. Thank you.
We have two volunteers out there right now actually doing just that,
Great.
trying to line up restaurants to coincide with our shows. So, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is the Boynton Beach Haunted Pirate Fest and Mermaid Splash.
Tracy Smith Coffee, Boynton Beach CRA, Business Development and Marketing. The pirates are coming. We have a flyer sitting at your area, and I hope you guys get your costumes ready for this event. We have Pirates Fest, which is October 26th and 27th from 10 to 5. And we have Mermaid Splash, which is only October 26th from 5 to 10. And staff has been working really hard on these events. It's going to be a really great event for Boynton Beach, and we're really excited to add on the Mermaid Splash to Pirate Fest, because it really makes the day longer for people who can come at night instead of if they work during the day. So also we're having a mermaid pageant. So if you know any mermaids out there that want to participate, we have a beautiful crown for Miss Mermaid Boynton, and then we have another crown for Little Miss Mermaid Boynton. So we're going to have an adult pageant and a children's pageant. So we also have trolley shuttles now that are going to take the people back and forth to parking. And also for Mermaid Splash, it's in 3 locations. So we'll have shuttles all night long until 10 o'clock. The one location is on it's 4th and Ocean. We're going to have a large stage there, and we're going to have our local restaurants set up and selling delicious food. The menu's really good. And then we have 640 Ocean Avenue, which is another location with a stage and some art vendors set up there. And then we have the Marina, which will have the pirate ship, and we'll have pirate reenactments at the pirate ship. So it's going to be a full night and a full day at Pirate Fest.
Mermaid Splash will be located where?
Mermaid Splash is on 4th and Ocean.
Okay.
And Ocean Avenue in between Federal and 4th, and then also on 640 at the Ocean Plaza, and then at the Marina. So it's 3 locations, but we have a trolley shuttle going back and forth to all those locations for everyone.
So that splash is going to be at all 3 places?
Yeah, because what we did was we incorporated the local businesses. So we also have local businesses set up on Ocean Avenue, some of the retail stores that are going to be selling some of their things at the event. And I have a pirates map hunt, which is a pirate. I have a table at 640, and they're going to hand out pirates maps. And you just have to go to all the booths to get the answers to the clue. So that drives people to our local businesses and the booths and the restaurants to get the clue. And then they can turn it in for a raffle at the end of the night. And that's going to be at 8:20, the raffle.
Chair?
Chair?
Yes.
If I may.
Chair George?
Tracy, I want to thank you. The business community has really stepped up. Hurricane, Jim Hall at the backyard, Chrissy, everybody, the new Mermaid, Steve Anton's place, they're all stepping up. And they have been promoting this constantly. Every day they're promoting it. And the word is out, and I want to thank you for the job of getting those businesses excited about this. there is a buzz now, and I have said to several women that they should enter the mermaid contest. I have not gotten slapped yet, but I'm sure I will. And I've had some that said, "Oh, that's interesting," and other ones that said, "No way." But I want to thank you for tying those businesses in.
You're welcome.
Vice Mayor Hay.
I just want to thank the staff of CRA staff, because the normal coordinator for this effort is not available, but the entire staff stepped up to the plate, and they each took a part to make this a signature event here in Boynton Beach, to pull it off, and I'm sure that it's going to be successful. So I just want to give a shout out to you guys. I mean, what I see and the excitement level, it's all there, and that's the kind of CRA board that we have, and I want that to continue. You guys work together as a team, and I see that, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Just quick, the restaurants, are they going to be putting food out, or are we going to have food vending trucks, or how's that working?
No, we have our local restaurants will be actually putting food out, and so there's 11 booths for our local restaurants.
Okay, so there's no food vending trucks, no trucks?
Nope,
okay.
Just our local restaurants. I wanted to incorporate the local businesses and restaurants, so because this is going to be our signature event, Pirate Fest and Mermaid Splash, so we really want to show everyone what restaurants we have in the area. And hopefully we have 46 restaurants, but only 11 stepped up. So hopefully next year they'll see the success that we had, and they'll want to participate for the next year.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, next item is the International Downtown Association 2013 Merit Award, Boynton Harbor Marina Redevelopment Project.
I just want to mention that Mike Simon is not here tonight because he's in New York accepting this award from the International Downtown Association for our Boynton Harbor Marina project, redevelopment project, which means the redesign of the entire marina and the redevelopment of the marina. This is a pretty comprehensive project. We bid it off in phases because of money, and we won the award because it is a comprehensive project, and I'm very proud of it. In our diligence to get it done, and despite not having a lot of money, we pursued it anyway, and we've done it. We're almost done, and tonight we have another phase that we're going to be doing, but we did win a merit award for it, and he's there accepting the award. So
I want to congratulate you and your staff for the
you.
work. It's a great job.
Well,
Super
we just
job.
carry the torch. Others before us started it, but we're carrying the torch.
Thank you. Next item is the Florida Redevelopment Association 2013 Roy F. Kenzie Award for Outstanding Rehabilitation, Renovation, and Reuse Project, The Little House.
We have a very, very short video that hopefully will play. This is the video that we'll play at the Florida Redevelopment Association annual conference. And this project, as some of you were not on the board and probably don't know much about it, we purchased this property as part of a public parking project, and this house happened to be sitting on it. And and I'm going to talk over it a little bit. But this is the video we are submitting to them to show.
With Jones Cottage, actually the project came about when we were developing the idea of creating public parking for the amphitheater, which we just built, and the Children's Schoolhouse Museum. And this little house was on the property, and we went in to inspect it, and we realized what a gem we had.
Once we saw the fireplace and the condition of the interior of the house, we felt like this had some legs to it. It had the opportunity to make it something different than it was.
My North Star with designing it was kind of unspoiled Florida at my grandmother's house. And then I was lucky enough to meet Ruth Jones. When I was in there, we were sanding the floors or painting the walls or doing something, and this precious, precious woman comes up, and she's in green Crocs and a pink rose jacket.
Well, I lived in it from 46 till 2008. That was 61 years that I lived there. I was so amazed when they said that they were going to move it, and I said, how are you going to move this? The fireplace? No. Oh, no problem, no problem.
to share the experience of watching this house kind of move from its original location just blocks away to become lived in again was really, it was, I mean, they were crying. I think the community, certainly the commission that was involved.
Chrissy's father took all of the pine paneling and he sanded it and did all the boards, and that's what's on the ceiling.
Really just that I think it's a great example of reuse, and we understand in historic preservation that it isn't always possible to use a property for its original use. Sometimes it isn't always possible to keep a historic property in its original site. But I think this project shows that there are perfectly good ways to reuse, adapt historic properties so they can be put into a new use. And what we want to see are these buildings kept for the future. So by putting them into a profitable and viable use, we have ensured that this building will be there for future generations.
I raised the 5 of them, and they're all grown up now. And I love my little house.
You can make a new building look old, but you can't replace the life that was in it.
One of my favorite projects I have done since I've been here.
Very good. I like it.
And I'm glad that they left the part where the vice chair was pushing a limo out of the way to get the house in place. Those of us that remember that day, I just drove up, I just parked, and what do I see? I see the vice chair pushing a limo out of the way, and they got it on video, and I was so glad that they edited that out. Okay, but it's great to get this award. We're all going to be in Tampa later this month to receive it and to show off what this wonderful project, and I think that's great.
Do you have anything else? Hello? Anything else? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chris. Okay, that takes us to the consent agenda item that was supposed to be Board Member Kara George.
Yes, in those minutes, the $1,500, it talks about that was for training. That was for real estate training on historic preservation. And I wanted that clarified because it was not just training. And so in that first paragraph, if we could add the words real estate in front of training and then after training for historic preservation. And that's the only correction I had. With that, I move for approval.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Show the motion unanimous. That takes us to information only items, the public comment log. There was a comment about somebody who really enjoyed the disco dance event that was put on. They really thought it was nice. I did attend that, and there was about 100 people there, and the evening went very well. Had entertainment through the whole night with some professional dancers and music. It was great. Okay. Next item is community caring. Habitat for Humanity's Paint-a-thon block party, which will be taking place on October 12th. And it'll be from 2 to 5 p.m. and it'll start out at the Carolyn Sims Center, I think is the key place. There'll be a lot going on: live music, water slides, bounce house, sports camp, fire truck, police K9 exhibit, community stage, Lowe's Kid Build Zone. And I think there'll be a lot of painting going on, won't there?
There is. They have local contractors that'll be painting
houses. There'll be $2 concessions for hamburgers, hot dogs, drinks, and more.
Chair, the CRA will have a tent there handing out goodie bags and information about the CRA. So we will have a tent there.
Very good. Any questions? Next item would be the Community Caring Center's The Harvest Moon Ball. That takes place on 11/14, 6:30 p.m. at Benvenuto's. Does the CRA have any plans to get a table there or anything?
We don't typically. That's just in there for anybody who wanted to attend. We don't typically do that.
Okay. Their tickets are $80 per person. The next would be the special events recap.
disco dance. I'm sorry, I kind of talked about the disco
I think
dance.
I see the mayor in one of these pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his lovely daughter, too.
Dancing the night away.
Yeah. Okay. That takes us to public comments. Anybody wish to address the board at this time may do so. We ask that you give your name and address for the record and try to limit your comment to 3 minutes if you come to the podium.
Dr. Piotr Blas, 113 West Tara Lake Drive, Boynton Beach, Florida, 33436. Just a very brief comment having to do with the theater. Among something that I want to speak to the head of the CRA. My great-grandfather was the father of the Jewish theater, and we are reviving a play, kind of like Fiddler on the Roof. So I want you to know I will be in touch with you and the gentleman maybe to produce that play in Boynton. I think it could be very, very good. Otherwise, I just want to really thank the board and the city. I took some trips to Peru, just came back. You're doing beautifully, and I noticed the University of Boynton is still here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to address the board at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to next item under 13 is old business. Board evaluation action on responses to the legal RFQ, RFP. I believe we have 4 companies that have responded, and
We have 4 firms.
they're going to give a little presentation
Yes.
evening, about 5 minutes per person.
Right. I just have one question for you, Mayor. Do you want, while one firm is giving their presentation, do you want the other firms to step outside, or what do you want them to do?
It's up to the board. How do you feel about that? Sure.
I think professionally, it would be wise for each attorney, a law firm should step outside. Each should give their own presentation, who and what they are, why we should think of them, and then after that, depending on what we want to do, we move from there.
Mayor,
Yeah, the only thing is that if you step outside, you can still hear what's going on.
Let me also indicate that a request to step outside is simply that. This is a public meeting.
Yeah.
They are legally entitled to stay.
Yeah, and stepping outside, it's like they can hear everybody anyway, because we got microphones out there. I'm sure they've been present in the presence of other lawyers before.
Yeah. Well, it's a professionalism, a courtesy.
Okay, it's just, how's the rest of the board feel?
I have no problem with them staying in.
I agree with Woody.
I think it's impractical, like you said. There is no outside.
Okay, there's consensus that you can stay in if you want. If you feel more comfortable walking out, you can, but if you don't, you're welcome to stay and listen.
Go get an icy.
Okay.
Can you bring one back?
Yeah.
Okay, according to my agenda here, is the first group Billings, Cochran, Lyles, Morrow, and Ramsey. Is that correct? Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, also members of the board. My name is Susan Delagal. I'm a partner with the law firm that the chair has indicated. I'm also here with my partner, Jerry Knight, from our firm. We have reviewed information regarding the CRA, and we know it to be a busy and thriving entity with a lot of projects ongoing and a lot of programs that you contribute to. We also know that you are administering a significant bond issue, and that's interesting to us to be able to work on projects. We're project-oriented lawyers, and we enjoy this kind of work. I've been doing CRA work since 1991 in private practice. I was in public practice prior to that time. I'm the former county attorney for Broward County. Also, Mr. Knight is a former assistant attorney general. He's a former assistant city attorney in Fort Lauderdale, and also an assistant county attorney for Broward. We are in a firm that's been in existence for 35 years in Fort Lauderdale and in West Palm Beach. We have been together as partners since 1996, practicing CRA work among much other work, municipal work, as well as private practice in the area of land use, zoning, etc. We worked together at Hollins & Knight since 1996, and then we went to our firm, our smaller firm, Billing Cochran, in 2005. I've been the attorney for the Davie CRA since 1991, the attorney for the Coral Springs CRA since 2002, and also do special project work for the City of Pompano Beach CRA. And Mr. Knight has worked closely with me on all of those CRAs since we've been working together. He does all the real estate work. He's a title attorney, title agent, and works extensively in our real estate transactions. We've done the whole gamut of things that you all need as far as development agreements. We represent a number of CDDs, over 100 CDDs in the state of Florida, also local governments and special projects, general defense work. Our firm does that, a general defense of municipalities throughout Broward County and in some other areas as well. And really, that's it. We are very pleased to be here presenting to you, and we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board at this time? Vice Mayor
Yes.
Hay?
In terms of the Boynton Beach proximity, how far are you away from it?
We are in downtown Fort Lauderdale. It's approximately, I'm going to say 45 minutes is a good estimate of time to get here.
Okay.
For us.
Yes.
How long have you been incorporated?
1977, our firm was created in 1977, so we've got about 36 years, if my math serves me, as a firm.
Other questions?
Yes. The work that you've done for Pompano, what has your experience been in dealing with that situation, since that's already contracted out to a separate company as opposed to a CRA? The company is running that CRA.
Yes, you mean Redevelopment Management Associates, yes. That firm. I've worked with the principals of that firm for a number of years. So when I'm doing work, my project work with the City of Pompano, I work directly with them because they report to the CRA, which is also the City Commission. The City Attorney serves as the CRA attorney for that municipality, and I come in and do special projects for RMA, and also is called in by the City Attorney. That entity has also recently been hired by Coral Springs CRA that I represent to redo their whole plan and to do a number of transportation elements of their plan.
So let me ask you this then. So in essence, they're having to pay when they do a project for two attorneys.
We don't overlap. The city attorney sits with the board in Pompano. He'll bring me in on a special issue. There's been a dispute with Broward County regarding some funding. So I worked with the CRA board on that issue. I do some litigation. We have some litigation that we do for the CRA. So I report to him. I keep him up and advised of everything that goes on, but we don't overlap in responsibilities.
But you're actually working for the vendor RMA as opposed to working for the CRA directly.
I'm hired and report to, and my attorney-client relationship is with the CRA itself.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
And your fee is $250 an hour for partners?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions?
Yes. If your firm selected, Mr. Knight will be the one who represents us?
I'm going to primarily be responsible for that. Under your RFP, I'm the responsible attorney. I will sit most times with this board. Mr. Knight is going to work on the projects with me, contract development, that's something he does, and real estate transactions. You will see him as well, integrally involved in the representation.
Is there travel time involved when you're coming up from Fort Lauderdale?
There is, but we are not going to charge for travel to your two regular meetings back and forth, your two every other Tuesday meetings. We would not charge travel time coming from Broward. I live in northern Broward County anyway, so. This once a month? Okay.
Yeah, once a month, yeah. Okay, any other questions?
Yes. How many total members of the firm are there?
a little more than 25 between our two offices.
Are you board certified?
I am. I'm board certified since 1995.
Questions?
Remind me again how many CRAs you are currently affiliated with?
Currently, 3 active. Yeah, Davie, Coral Springs, and the city of Pompano Beach.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
We're
it.
going to step outside, but we're going to wait and
Okay,
be available.
wherever you're comfortable.
Okay. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next company is Fowler White Boggs.
Good evening. I think I'm
Evening.
on.
Yeah, you're on.
My name is Derek Rooney with the firm Fowler White Boggs. I want to start out by saying thank you for allowing us to propose today. I also want to share the regrets of one of my colleagues from the Tampa office, Erin McCormick, who hoped to be here today as well. She had a hearing that caused her to miss her flight to come down. I'm also joined by Dwayne Dickerson from our Fort Lauderdale office. Dwayne is not one of the 3 attorneys that are listed as the primaries. However, a review of what the Boynton Beach CRA is looking at involved a lot of private development projects that the CRA is active in helping those developers move forward. Dwayne practices development law. He's an expert in that area, so I thought I'd bring him along just in case he had any questions beyond the government side of the business. Fowler White Boggs has been around since 70 years. We have over 100 attorneys in 5 offices throughout the state: Fort Myers, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, Jacksonville, and Tallahassee. We have 19 government practice attorneys, including myself and Dwayne. We've proposed 3 primary attorneys: Erin McCormick out of Tampa, Marilyn Miller out of Fort Myers, and myself out of Fort Myers. Based on the RFP criteria, just as Ms. Dillagal pointed out, I would be the primary attorney. I am board certified. I have 5 years experience representing CRAs. A little bit about my background: I was a former assistant county attorney in Charlotte County. I represented 3 CRAs, 3 out of the 4 in that county, including one which I helped create. I'm currently now a town attorney for the town of Fort Myers Beach. I represent their 3 CRAs, which have been transitioning over from county control to city control. We are in the process of consolidating those as well. I also work as a consultant for Lee County, in which I am in the process of creating a new CRA for the Lehigh Acres area. Beyond that, I have extensive experience in special districts. I represent Lee Memorial Health Systems, a public hospital board. I also have represented the Punta Gorda Northport Metropolitan Planning Organization, Charlotte County Tourist Development Council, and a number of other government representations as special counsel for litigation, City of Venice. I could go on, but what I would like to focus on today is that Fowler White Boggs is a statewide firm. We have a statewide practice, and we're simply not listing a handful of attorneys who will handle matters on a day-to-day basis. Yes, you'll see me the most. If you would prefer to see another attorney, you can have another attorney. However, we are pitching a true cafeteria approach. We have experts in every field of law. We have a broad bench. We can handle any matter that comes before the CRA, whether it's development, litigation, bonding, etc. And we are prepared to do all that for the fee that we have proposed. Now, I noticed the staff had done a cross-section of the fee. And what I'll say is we do appear to be the most expensive. But what you're getting with that is it is not 1 or 2 attorneys who are going to be doing all the work for the CRA. If you want Linda Shelley, the former DCA two-time DCA secretary from Tallahassee, to work on an issue, she will do it at the blended rate. And as per our rate, we're not going to charge for travel for any regular scheduled meetings. Only those times in which there's a special meeting, maybe something on short notice, where we have to book a flight and it's rather expensive, we're going to charge only half our travel time. I thought I'd make those points clear and also point out that the staff split up of our fees. There was an error. Our paralegal rate is $110 per hour, not $150. That said, if, as I know, all of our fellow colleagues who are here today are eminently qualified to represent the CRA. If cost is the main issue, what we can do is we can propose similar to their, if you just want to see me, I can come in line with the pricing that's been offered by our colleagues. However, if you want the full one-stop shop approach, that's the proposal we put forward today, and I'll answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Questions?
Just one. What do you call short notice in terms of travel?
Well, I'm coming, and I'll be honest, the Fort Myers office is 100 miles away, 130 miles. It took me 2 hours to get here today. I do some work out of the Fort Lauderdale office, and we have a full staff of maybe 30 or 40 attorneys in the Fort Lauderdale office as well. So if there is an emergency meeting, and I'm thinking this is not something that's likely given the CRA, but if there was a nuisance abatement issue that was coming forward, that was a serious issue, we would have an attorney here immediately. Within a few hours. But for normal business issues, a special meeting per se, 2 days would probably be enough notice. If you wanted someone from an outside office, and this is Jacksonville, Tampa, Tallahassee, myself, Dwayne, and from Fort Lauderdale office, we can be here within a day.
How many CRAs you currently represent now?
Currently, I am only representing the town of Fort Myers Beach CRA, and as I said, that is a former unincorporated area of the county. It only recently became an incorporated city. They're actually in a bank building that they're leasing out of former Wachovia, I believe. And they had 3 CRAs along the beach. Those CRAs disappeared over a period of time, and they're in the process of consolidating all of them and then transferring their control from the county, which, as you know, the county, the jurisdiction, has the ability to put its own members as the CRA board ex officio. So we're transitioning them over, but that is the only one they currently represent.
Have you represented any in the past other than
Fort
Myers?
I did not represent the Punta Gorda CRA in Charlotte County, but I represent the Charlotte Harbor CRA, which is a coastal community built in the 1920s, devastated by Hurricane Charlie. We did issue a couple bonds for some infrastructure work, but primarily that focus was on maintaining the character of the coastal community and trying to rehabilitate some of the commercial strip malls that had gone out of favor. I also represent the Parkside CRA, which I created. It is an area of true blight, a number of homes built in the 1940s and 50s which had gone to severe disrepair, and we instituted a program of initial code enforcement but also housing rehabilitation to bring those properties back online. I also represent the Murdoch Village CRA, which has no residents. It is completely controlled by Charlotte County. We acquired approximately 800 acres contiguous from about 3,000 lots to develop as an industrial park.
Thank you.
Your associate, I'm sorry, I didn't get the name.
Dwayne Dickerson.
Pardon?
Dwayne Dickerson.
Dwayne, you're at the Fort Lauderdale office? Is that correct?
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, board members. That is correct. I work out of the Fort Lauderdale office.
How long have you been with the company?
I've been with Fowler White just over a year. I've been practicing since 2003. I'm a land use and zoning attorney, represent vast variety of developers. For instance, I'm representing a developer now with over 900,000 square feet of developable area. I've represented quite a bit of residential developers and vacant landowners, everything from initial due diligence to determine if they want to purchase the property, what the zoning is, what the land use is, what the developable rights are for the property, what we would need to do to get to where they want it to be. So all of those types of development issues I've worked with over the last 9-10 years.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Dwayne, most of your experience is in the private sector, correct?
That is correct.
In fact, I think you'd agree probably 100%.
Quite a bit of it is, but the good news is, as you can imagine, as a land use and zoning attorney, if you don't understand how cities work, CRAs work, you won't be very successful. So exactly. it's a very good transition and working with the cities and getting my projects developed over the years.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And what was your blended rate again?
285.
285. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next firm is Gray Robinson.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members, Ms. Brooks, Mr. Cheroff. Before I start, I'd like to just disclose I had no clue that Ms. Brooks' daughter was dating one of our attorneys.
Neither did we.
I'm sure he's a fine young man, and I would just offer if there's any issues, just let me know. I'll be happy to take care of it as the managing shareholder in South Florida. And I also want to disclose that Mr. Marshall, who's here with me from my Boca Raton office, Michael Marshall, we did not talk about wearing yellow ties, but we both did, and that just shows we're both on the same wavelength. We wanted to thank you, first of all, for having us here tonight and giving us the opportunity to present in front of you. We're very excited about the prospect of being your CRA attorney. Again, my name is Steven Zelkowitz. I'm the managing shareholder of the firm's Miami office. I had also opened the Fort Lauderdale office 8 years ago, was the managing shareholder of that office. And we recently opened the Boca office with Mr. Marshall and also Charlie Seaman and Wendy Larson. The firm of Seaman and Larson merged with our firm. Just to give you a brief background about Gray Robinson, we've been in existence over 40 years. We are Orlando-based. Charlie Gray and Robbie Robinson are still with the firm. Mr. Gray has prided himself on having a large part of our practice be a governmental practice, representing various state agencies, counties, local governments, and special districts. We have over 275 attorneys in 13 offices throughout the state, including a Tallahassee office, which I'll mention in a minute, which is very important, I think, to community redevelopment agencies. With respect to my own CRA experience, I have a governmental practice starting 15 years ago in which I specialize in CRA practice. I currently serve as the general counsel for 4 community redevelopment agencies in South Florida. That would be the Naranja Lake CRA, North Miami CRA, North Miami Beach CRA, and the Hallandale Beach CRA. So I am their general counsel. I will say to you that, I'll tell you what I'm not. I am not a municipal government attorney who does CRA work on the side. Okay, I have created a government practice area in community redevelopment agency representation, and that is the only governmental work that I do. So I myself and with Michael, we know 163 Part 3 backwards and forwards. Mr. Marshall actually drafts redevelopment plans, has helped create CRAs, and that's part of his background, which I'll give you. Obviously, throughout our representation, we do all kinds of affordable housing work like you do. We do development projects, and I will compliment you because when I do lecture about CRAs, and I do that through the FAU School of Government, we always look to Boynton Beach as one of the examples of things that CRAs did right. And you all should be very proud of your CRA and the projects you've done in the past because they are looked at as case studies by Ms. Briesmeister and her firm, and I lecture with her and also with Mr. Cheroff's partners from time to time. Other aspects of what we do, an experience I've had which may be helpful, hopefully not. We've gone through Inspector General investigations with CRAs. We've worked at the state level with JLAC, the Joint Legislative Audit Committee, when it comes time perhaps to have a CRA audited. My attorneys in Tallahassee know those staff people. They know the folks and the senators and representatives on those committees, and we have direct access to them and have been helpful in certain instances in heading off audits and the like. As far as our approach to representing you, Mr. Marshall is located 15 minutes away in our Boca Raton office. He would be the attorney who would come here and sit with you at your meetings. I would be there helping him with respect to the different substantive matters. I am resident in the Miami office. I travel to the Fort Lauderdale and Boca offices regularly as part of my practice. I have clients in Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade counties. We proposed a fee structure of $225 per hour for shareholders. We have that as a blended rate. I want you to understand that At our firm, we don't usually what we call push down work to associates, but I could see where that might cause you some concern if we have a blended rate of 225 and I'm using an associate. So what I would propose, if we were selected, is we would do 225 for shareholders and 175 for associates across the board, and that would be from Mr. Gray on down. We don't charge for travel for any meeting, not just your board meetings, but any meeting where Mr. Marshall is coming here to meet with your executive director or staff or any of you for any reason. We don't charge for travel time, and that would be if I was coming as well up from Miami or Lauderdale or Boca. We don't charge for routine telephone calls. If Ms. Brooks has a question and she needs to call me, or if any of you have a question on an agenda item and you want to discuss it, if it's a routine telephone call, we don't charge for that. There's no purpose to that. If it's a conference call on a project and the attorneys on the other side are involved, certainly that would be billable. I looked at your proposed budget of $85,000. I will tell you that I think that, not knowing what projects and the like you have coming up, but in the other CRAs we represent, we can do that probably for less than the 85. So I'm open for any questions.
Questions, Ms. McKinnon?
Yes, I have a couple. I notice there's no fee for paralegal here. Does that go with your blended rate or what?
Typically, there's really no, I think, purpose to have a paralegal in CRA work. I don't know what they would really do. In our work, if we had research, an associate would do it at the 175 if it was partner level work. But if it was a paralegal, if we actually had to use one, I would say it's $100 an hour.
And Mr. Marshall would be our representative here for most of our meetings?
Yeah, Michael would come and sit at the meetings. He's well versed at sitting with city commissions and the like.
Could we just have him come and tell a little about himself?
Sure. Michael, you want to come up and tell us about your experience?
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So I'm a shareholder with Gray Robinson. As Steve said, I work in the Boca Raton office with Charlie Seaman and Wendy Larson, formerly of the Seaman and Larson Law Firm, which is a law firm based out of Boca Raton since the early 1980s. My background, I'm a recovering civil engineer, master's of business administration. I worked as a civil engineer for a number of years and then went back to law school. Since then, I began working as an attorney with Seaman and Larson in 2006. Much like Gray Robinson, my practice with Seaman and Larson. Seaman and Larson's historical practice is one that's balances public sector and private sector work. It's very difficult to do it in the same jurisdiction, but we represented a number of public sector entities. Seaman and Larson was the consultant for the City of Boca Raton CRA in the development of its CRA and its downtown development of regional impact. We did the findings of necessity for the Lauderdale Lake CRA. We did the findings of necessity and the preparation for the initial CRA plan in Coral Springs. Prepared the CRA plan findings of necessity for the City of Lauderhill, and subsequently got the approval for the Lauderhill City Center DRI. I currently work with the City of Marathon. I work with its planning department, and I occasionally sit with the City Council whenever the principal city attorney is not available. I also work with the City of Doral Planning Department and their Planning and Zoning Board. And again, when the city attorney is not available, I'm there to sit with the City Council and the City of Doral. Worked with the City of Doral for about 7 years. I began with the City of Doral in the preparation of their comprehensive plan, which led to a litigation matter where we had to defend that comprehensive plan. And then after that, the settlement of that litigation, which was the creation of a downtown master plan for the city, which is not a CRA, but it's a downtown master plan nonetheless. I also have private sector work. We do a lot of private sector work these days in Boca Raton. We work constantly with the build out of the downtown DRI. We work with the build out of the Arvida Park of Commerce DRI, which is about 1,400 acres. We just recently worked with the consortium of property owners with the northwest sector of the city of Boca Raton, which generally encompasses APOC and then some additional areas, the Boca Technology Center DRI, which is the home of the former IBM headquarters. And when we represented that consortium in developing a new set of land development regulations to try to invigorate what is really an outdated 1970 office park, with a concept that we call plan mobility, which is it's just designed to bring a balance of uses into the area and reinvent the non-residential uses in the park. We also represent developers in Fort Lauderdale. We work with the Fort Lauderdale and the Fort Lauderdale Beach CRAs, Dania Beach, all the way down to Key West. We practice with our private sector practices generally from Monroe County to Orlando. Our public sector practice, we represent the state of New Jersey. We've worked with the state of Louisiana. Seaman Larson prepared the land use legislation for the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. So we've had a lot of experience. If I'm not available, if Steve's not available, then Charlie Seaman, who works in my office, will be available to meet with you all from time to time as well. So it's not just the other associates or the Tallahassee partners that will be here to work with you all, but also the other attorneys that I've worked with in Boca Raton.
Thank you. Commissioner Merker? Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't go ahead.
So you're completely familiar then with the CRA law and feel confident about sitting with the board and advising us on the fly as we go through our meetings?
100%.
Thank you.
Councilman Merker?
Pardon me for putting a question into your statements. One of the things that cities, people, corporations often get confused about are fees. And what I'm hearing tonight is about a vacillation of this is the fee that was put down, and then I'm hearing another fee. And then I hear, and I'll use the word an assumption, where you look at a number and you say, well, this is what it's costing us now, and you're assuming that you'll come in. I don't like that word, assuming. If you have a flat fee, then state it. I don't like the idea of not knowing. And that's what was presented to me, an assumption saying I can do it. If you can do it, then let's have a flat fee. Let's have an exact number, because you're questioning what we're paying. And I want to dot the I and cross the T, and I'm not hearing that tonight as far as fees, not just from your firm, but the other firms. They're saying this, and they're saying, well, if this and that. That's not a number. When I want something and I'm hiring a lawyer, or I'm going to a doctor, or I'm going to insurance, I want to know what the number is, and I'm not hearing that tonight.
Chair?
Yes.
I have a couple questions. I noticed you do work with the Hallandale CRA, and you had mentioned Dania Beach. Two very different animals, okay? Are you currently doing Dania Beach?
No, sir. We're not the CRA attorneys there. Weiss Rhoda Helfman is the CRA attorney there. We've been working with Dania Beach in connection with the other Broward CRAs relative to inquiries by the Inspector General's office and the question of jurisdiction and whether the OIG has jurisdiction over the Broward County CRAs. I know in Palm Beach County, the charter provision with respect to the OIG has an opt-in provision where the CRA could opt in and elect to be subject to an investigation if there was probable cause by the Inspector General. I've discussed that with a number of the executive directors of Palm Beach County CRAs, not yours, but others in respect to what appears to be on a statewide level and certainly focused more in South Florida, an accountability of CRAs and more of an eye is being cast upon them, and there are these potential investigations that are in the air out there. I know Delray Beach has already had its audit performed, and I think part of what we bring to the table is we've been through that with Hallandale Beach. I will say, and I will tell you, that everything that was investigated was prior to the time that we were engaged as a CRA attorney. And in fact, the IG in its final report as remedial action and positive steps said that the retaining of our law firm was a positive step for that CRA, and we've been helping them to, quote unquote, deal with their prior issues and their organic governance issues and get them back on the right track.
That was my follow-up question on Hallandale was, when were you?
Yeah, we were brought in to help, clean up the situation, so to speak.
Because that was a pretty big mess.
Yes, it was, sir.
Any other questions?
Sure, I got a couple.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just Well, it's kind of minor, but I was reading this over. What's Narragansett or Narragansett Lakes?
Naranja Lake CRA?
Yeah, I never heard of it. Is that a town?
Naranja Lakes CRA is actually an UMSA CRA. It's an unincorporated Dade County. The county itself has created a number of CRAs within the unincorporated areas. So this happens to be, and Naranja Lakes, just so you all know, is basically ground zero for Hurricane Andrew. The entire area was flattened to the ground back in 1992 when Hurricane Andrew came through. They created a community redevelopment area there. There was a project that was proposed by a developer who did the Abacoa project up here in Palm Beach County, George DeGuardiola, called Mandarin Lakes, and it was a traditional neighborhood development using traditional neighborhood zoning, and is a project that has helped create a tax base for this area and help redevelop it and get it back to being something other than just a wasteland, which is basically what it was. So in that particular instance, the county is the agency that created it. They have a citizens board that serves as the CRA board in that particular case, and I've been their general counsel since 2003 when they were created. I helped create the CRA there.
Is that down towards Homestead then?
It is exactly down towards Homestead. It's just a little bit north of Homestead.
My other question is, how do you go from civil engineer to a lawyer?
Go to law school, I guess.
It's a good question. I often wonder. What happened was I was, my specialty in civil engineering was I was a structural engineer, and I was working on a lot of bridge projects for the North Carolina DOT. And part of those projects we were doing site selection, and involved in the site selection was a lot of planning, studying the impacts of access to barrier islands that previously didn't have large access, maybe a pontoon bridge or maybe no bridge at all. But in doing a lot of the planning work for those projects, I became enamored with the discipline, the science of planning, and I felt that the best way for me to be in position to where I could help influence policy was to go to law school.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next firm is Lewis, Longman and Walker.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of the board. My name is Kenneth Spilius. I'm the president and managing shareholder of Lewis, Longman and Walker. With me tonight is my partner, Tara Dewey. We had hoped that another partner would come tonight, Brenna Durden, who is on the board of the FRA, but we've allowed her to take a 4-month sabbatical to recharge her batteries, and I didn't think it was quite appropriate to call her and ask her to come back for tonight. Forgive me for that misjudgment if it turns out to be that. Having sat basically in your shoes in the past, I understand you have a very difficult decision. The reason you have a very difficult decision tonight is you have 4 excellent law firms, any one of which would be able to represent this CRA skillfully and with dedication. I know people from some of these firms. We've done work with and against many of these firms, or all of them, I think. And you will get good representation whoever you choose. So the issue then comes down to what you feel distinguishes one firm from another for your needs and for your representation. One of the issues you've asked us to address is location. Lewis Longman and Walker is a 32-member firm, a statewide firm. Its largest office is and always has been in West Palm Beach. The firm was founded in 1994 as an environmental, land use, and governmental law firm. And while we have grown and branched out into some other areas, that remains the core of our practice. And I know you've read the responses. You've seen the list of governmental entities that we represent around the state in a number of different disciplines and areas, including several here in Palm Beach County, many municipalities and special districts. We've given you the list also of our past experience with CRAs. I think what I'd like to suggest, lawyers, the most important thing, of course, for a lawyer is to know the law, or to know how to look it up to give you the answers that you want. But I suggest there's another aspect of lawyering that sometimes lawyers forget, and often clients don't feel they are receiving, and that is know your client. Know your client's dreams, visions, unique attributes, what they want from you as a lawyer, remembering that our job is not to do it for us, but to do it for our clients, to service our clients. We know this community. I've been practicing law in Florida for 35 years. Tara has practiced her entire career in Palm Beach County. And when I say I've practiced in Florida, it's been in Palm Beach County for that entire period of time. I've been in government. I have represented governments. I've represented this board from 2004 to 2007 as general counsel. At a time where there were many significant projects, including the Marina project, coming before this board. We have represented the board as special counsel as recently as 2012, dealing with issues of hazardous waste and contamination and looking into things like brownfields and that type of thing. We are one of the premier environmental and land use law firms in the state, despite our relatively modest size compared particularly to the law firms you've heard from today, other than Sue Delavelle's firm. I'm the town attorney for Ocean Ridge. Ocean Ridge, and have been for 14 years. Ocean Ridge has business with the city of Boynton Beach, not the CRA, but the city. Ocean Ridge utilizes fire rescue from Boynton Beach, utilizes water from Boynton Beach, and is basically your cousin over the bridge. We know Boynton Beach, not just Palm Beach County. You have two major new buildings right off of Gateway. One is the Children's Services Council building. In 1986, I co-founded the Children's Services Council and helped develop, in the early years, one of the best agencies of its kind in the country. I'm also past president of the Literacy Coalition, and I've been on the board for many years, and we just opened our new facility on Quantum. Now, I raise these items not to just sound like a homer, but the point is we know what you've been doing for the last 10 and 15 years. We participated in what you've been doing for the last 10 or 15 years. And while I live in West Palm Beach, I've had many ties to Boynton Beach. That would not be important at all if we weren't also a very good law firm who knows what it's doing when it comes to government representation. The fee schedule that we've put in, that is our fee schedule if it's to be done on an hourly basis. The only alternative that I would suggest, if it were helpful to the board, particularly in your budgeting, is at times we will also do a flat monthly retainer for the general services, and that is something we'd be open to discussing within your budget. And I think the only other thing I would point out at this time would be your Pirate Fest at the end of October. Particularly excites me. I am originally from Pittsburgh. My Pirates are in the playoffs. If they're in the World Series, I would like to find some way that perhaps I can bring a Jolly Roger down and have you fly it over the city of Boynton Beach to root my Pirates on.
What about the Steelers? How do you feel about that?
I'm still rooting for them. What are you going to do? No. But I'm rooting a little more now for the Dolphins this year. I think they got a better shot. And with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Questions?
Yeah.
Casella?
I just got a quick one. Do you think there is a need for paralegals in the CRA business?
I don't know that there is, but we always include paralegals in our pricing in the event that there's any need. Usually, the work that paralegals often do is document organization and putting documents and that type of thing together. There have been instances, at least in our past representation of the CRA, where there were heavy document negotiations and that type of thing, and we can utilize a paralegal cheaper than an associate or a partner sometimes to organize documents. Not nearly as extensively as my practice. That is true.
I had a question on your list of clients, and there's probably let's say 1, 2, 3 pages. Looks like probably over 250 or something. How many are these ones you've worked with previously, or how many you're currently representing?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say we're currently representing at least 150.
Okay.
For example, a partner of ours in Tallahassee, Jim Lynn, is a government pension lawyer. He represents a number of counties and significant number of municipalities throughout the state on their pension work.
Okay. One of them listed here, I noticed, was the Quantum Community Development District. Would that be the Quantum here in Boynton, the Quantum Park?
I believe it is, but I'm not sure.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
That's
Bill Capco of our firm represents them. I believe
Quantum
it is the one
Community
here.
Development District. I was familiar with that one, so I just wanted. Okay. Yes.
Sure. One of the reasons we're having this is because we felt the relationship, in my understanding, between the city attorney and the CRA attorney was too close, and I think that's the main reason we're doing this. So I kind of, I don't see, being the attorney for Ocean Ridge as being a positive, because, we like to think we're going to have good relationships with them, but you never know what the future is going to be. So how would that work out?
When we applied for this position in 2004, the first thing I did was go to the town of Ocean Ridge and ask if they saw any conflict in the representation. They said if I were being asked to represent the city of Boynton Beach, they felt that might be a problem. But in representing the CRA, since at least 2004 to this day, I'm not aware of any issues that have arisen between the CRA and the town of Ocean Ridge that would create a conflict of interest. I would say if that should occur, then I would need to withdraw from representing one or the other or both sides for that one particular issue that creates that conflict. We've had that situation in Ocean Ridge with some of our boards. What we've done is we've brought in special counsel to handle the one matter that, because of my conflict, could not be handled. It's not a major difficulty for law firms that represent clients who may theoretically have an issue. We're governed by the Florida Bar rules, and unless we get waivers from both parties in a situation like that, then we can't represent either one in it.
Chair?
Yes.
Yeah. Ken, I knew you were going to bring up Pittsburgh, and I was waiting for you to bring up your heritage, and I was waiting for you to bring up your literary skills as an author.
Oh, wow. It's gotten out further than I had hoped.
And, you've been spending a good chunk of time on your book.
No.
You wrote it,
yes.
And you've also been recognized by the Cultural Council and a few other things. And I actually thought you were putting more time towards that lately, but you're saying no?
Mr. Kerr, George, I am the managing shareholder of Lewis, Longman & Walker. Right. All 4 offices. That's where my time's going. I actually started the book in 1997, just on weekends and vacations. It took me 10 years. It's out there now, and I do have the website. If you'd like.
I was waiting for you to get to that.
Just type my name in Google, you'll find it. But it is nothing about law. It is fiction, and don't let your children read it.
Exactly. It is adult in nature. But I also, when you represented the CRA of Boynton Beach, there were a lot of positives, but there were also some negatives. And when it was a completely different board, it was a citizen board. but there were some things that weren't of a legal nature, but more of a business nature, that became problematic later on. And you chose at that time to resign when it transitioned to the commission running it as the CRA.
Correct.
And I understand that because the commission had its own representation. Could you elaborate on what you feel were the strengths and what you feel the weaknesses were of your tenure during that time?
In what respect, Mr. Carey, George? You mean of the board?
Of your working with the board.
Oh, okay.
What were your experiences from a positive standpoint and from a negative standpoint? Like I said, I'm not casting any stones on anybody. No. I'm just saying that there were good things that came during that tenure, and there were also some negative things.
I felt that we had a very good working relationship. I had a very good working relationship with the board, with both executive directors that I worked with Vivian when she came on as the development director and became the assistant director. I did not find the board difficult to work with at all. The last year or so, there was a lot of friction. It was political friction between the appointed board and the desire of some on the commission to take the board back. You know, I didn't get involved in the politics of it. It didn't affect my work. I believe Mr. Cheroff's office and I worked well together, him representing the city and me representing the CRA. At the time of the transition, at the time of the change, quite frankly, I felt uncomfortable with the manner in which it occurred. And it was pretty clear to me that there was going to be a desire to bring the city attorney back in, since the city commission would in essence be the board. And I felt it was the better part of discretion to not make an issue of it and to step back at the precise time that the transition occurred. After Mr. Cheroff's firm was appointed again as CRA attorney, we had a little cleanup work to do for the CRA, which we did in the transition. And as I've said since then, we've been retained on a couple of occasions as special counsel for the CRA to deal with project-specific items. And again, I have not felt any friction or any hesitation in terms of cooperation going back and forth.
Thank you.
Well, if I could just add, I was here on the commission at the time when you were talking about, and I will tell you that I couldn't have been more pleased with your performance and your advice that you gave this board. And one thing I remember specifically is that what I really appreciated is you never waited for me to ask you, are we okay going here or there? You were always right there saying, advising the board, this is what you want to remember legally, this is how you can do it or you can't do it. The advice was always given very upfront and without prompting. You were there to tell us and kept us on the right path. And I always remember that. So all I remember is a very positive relationship with you and your efforts while you were the former CRA attorney. It was excellent work.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've always felt that Vivian's role is to make you look good, and the attorney's role is to keep you out of trouble.
You did that. You did that.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Who would be our main representative? Would that be you?
It would be me, with Tara as my main backup. All 32 lawyers in our firm, in all 4 offices, have capabilities in the area of government law, land use, and environmental, which are the areas that tend, and development. We represent, not locally so much, but in other areas of the state, we represent major developers as well. So we have the knowledge from both sides of the dais, so to speak.
Is it Karen?
Tara.
Carol.
T-A-R-A.
Oh, okay. Would you give us a little bit of your background?
Absolutely. and thank you for having us. I'm very pleased to be here and have the opportunity to meet and speak with you all. I've been practicing in Palm Beach County, as Ken mentioned, since 2004. I do a great deal of local government work. I'm working with Ken on Ocean Ridge. I also do a lot of work representing special districts, special water control districts specifically. I represent some charter schools. I have represented school districts. And I also do a great deal of environmental and land use work, working with local governments to get approvals for my clients. In that regard, I hold myself out, and one of the things I'm proudest about is that I can work on both sides. I understand the people who are sitting across the table from me in any situation. So in the instances where I am representing a private party with a local government, I do so with respect, and it ends up doing my client a great deal of good. And it also, when tables are flipped and I'm on the side of the local government, it gives me insight into what's happening on the other side that allows me to try to meet in win-win situations in most cases. So that is one of the things that I try to lead my practice with and bring to my clients. Again, if there's any specific questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you. Tara neglected to mention that she also worked with the CRA and did a significant amount of the negotiating and drafting of some of the development contracts. One that unfortunately didn't come to fruition. We put a lot of time into was the Heart of Boynton, and wish that that could have come to fruition, but I still believe someday it will.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
May I ask a question, please?
Certainly.
Okay. We heard from 4 law firms. Obviously, each one saying they're very qualified, and I'm not questioning that. The law firm that I did not hear from is our own law firm.
It did not apply.
Okay, did not apply. My question is, thank you. My question is, but that has nothing to do with us still keeping the law firm that we have. Correct? Is that correct?
No, I think we went out to RFP and requested people to apply for this, and that's why we're here tonight, and that's what's before us.
No, but that's not my question. My question is...
yeah, if you turn down all these firms, these 4 firms, then you would be left with the law firm we currently have.
So in other words, the firm that we have right now is still in the running. Correct?
It's up to you.
Of course.
That's a personal
obvious
decision.
Okay, I want to dot the I and cross the T. I want the people to know, I want the papers to know that it's not that Jim's Sheriff's law firm is being excluded. That's all I'm doing.
Okay. Other commissioners? I will, if you want me to start, you want to start?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I just think we're blessed to have these 4 firms. I just, obviously the qualifications are, without question, they're just incredible. And like I think Mr. Lewis said, we couldn't lose with any one of them that we chose. They all have the background, the ability to do it. And I guess for me, the way I'm leaning, I think, is that, and probably because of my past experience and knowledge, and the fact that the firm of Lewis, Longman, and Walker are so involved in the community here and around us, everybody around us, Boynton Beach, Delray Beach, Riviera Beach, West Palm Beach County Clerk of the Court, Palm Beach County Department of Airports, Palm Beach County Supervisor Elections. And they're obviously knowledgeable of this community because they've been there and done it, and so there's absolutely no learning curve. They just step right in. So, and I've had prior experience, and all of it has been very positive, and so I guess I'd be leaning to the Lewis, Longman, and Walker firm for my choice. Yes, Mayor.
That's exactly the one that I had picked. With the Gary Robinson very close second. But in terms of what the chair just brought up, I'm leaning more toward the Lewis and Longman. I just feel that I've seen and heard him in other settings, and I've liked what I heard and what I've seen. and so I tend to favor Lewis and Longman.
Mr. Fitzpatrick?
I haven't brought this up before, so, this is kind of long range out there, but to me there's a problem with the parking at the beach, that it's often overcrowded, and so, if the most valuable land you have is beach property, then that should be the highest use, and so somewhere down the road, no time soon, but I would think we should consider building off the back side of it a at least two level parking deck, and I see that as being a major conflict with Ocean Ridge down the road, and whether they would want the extra traffic, whether they would want I could see where the CRA would be putting money into something like that. So I don't. And with like Quantum, the city, which we're the same people, even though it's a different board, we are currently trying, I believe, kind of signed on to wrest control and change the membership of the board of directors. So I think, we're in a conflict right there now. So I'd prefer going a little farther abroad myself. And if you come down to it, I guess I'm leaning towards Gray Robinson.
Sir George?
Chair, I'd like to go last.
Mr. Buchanan?
Well, I think that the two choices have been mentioned are my two choices also. Obviously, with Lewis Lawman, we have the advantage of prior experience and a lot of local Palm Beach County experience. With Gray Robinson, I think we have pretty strong statewide presence and lower prices. And at this moment, I'm on the fence between the two.
Mr. Casello?
I'd just like to say thank you all for coming, and the credentials are impeccable. They're all great firms, and I really don't think that we could lose with any one of them that we've chosen. Myself, I am leaning towards the Gray Robinson and the Lewis Lockman Walker. I like that hometown connection. I like that. I think that it gives us a little head start. He's got the pulse of the city. He's been here before. From all accounts, he's done a pretty good job. So I'm debating between those two at this time.
And that leaves it to you.
Chair,
hang on. I thought you already meant.
No, I did not.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead then.
The word blessed with was used. I used the word personal touch. I'm not questioning credentials. I'm questioning what I experienced and what the city has experienced. Talk is cheap. There's always a better salesman than the next. But the experience that I've experienced with James Sheroff is that personal touch. His ability, his wanting, and his desire to stay in touch, to educate and to inform has been impeccable. I think we're overlooking what we have. We should be very satisfied and appreciative of what we have, and I see no reason, and cost, let's not forget cost, I see no reason at this time to change law firms.
Mr. Chair George.
Yes, Chair. First off, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Jim's firm, as I do for these other firms. I am familiar with Ken's firm because I know the work that you did, and I follow the work that you've done in other markets as well throughout Palm Beach County. Gray Robinson is a quality firm. They do good work. I've talked to people on this, two of the CRAs that they work with and have worked with, and it's a very difficult decision, and I think that when it comes time to vote, I'll make my decision. But it's a very difficult decision. It's an enviable position for us to be in, to have this type of quality come before us, and we already have quality. So I, like I said, those are the three that I would consider.
Okay, I think everybody's got an opinion, and I didn't hear total consensus of 4 votes. So I think we're going to have to motion on the floor and go that way. So at this point, just to get us started, I will pass the gavel. I would like to make a motion that we hire Lewis, Lawman, and Walker as the CRA, or make offer to them as the firm for the CRA.
Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Discussion on Lewis, Longman, and Walker? Hearing no. Go ahead.
I thought you called the vote. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
I hear 5 and 2. Is that correct?
3 and 2, you mean? Oh, 5 and 2.
5 and
5
2?
and 2.
5 and 2. The motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your input. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Takes us to consideration issuing RFP for general contracting services for the construction of the Phase 2 of the Marina Development Project.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vivian, do you consideration of the RFP for the general contracting services for the construction of Phase 2?
To build the Boynton Harbor Marina Master Building and Fuel Dock Site Improvement Project. This is to get the general contractor, get that project going. That's just to issue the invitation to bid.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Most second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So the motion is unanimous.
I just want to point out to the board that we actually will not start construction until after the Christmas holidays because of the restaurants, just so everybody knows.
But we're looking at January.
Probably
late January.
Yes,
Let me preface that. Late January.
Restaurants will not be happy with us, and I'll just give them your phone number.
I have a question about that.
Go ahead.
Why wouldn't we delay it to Easter or something?
It's going to be in spring because the restaurants, it's very tight where Two George's Valet is, and they have to get their trucks in and out. So we're going to delay it till spring, early spring.
That's what I'm saying, when the season's over.
Yeah, when the season's over.
So it's not that isn't late January. That's more like late April.
That's Mark talking. No, it'll be spring because it's so tight. If you guys have valet parked at Two George's, you know what I'm talking about. And the site itself is very tight. Coordination is going to be really important on this project. So with the restaurant owner, and if you've driven through there, next time do it with an eye for trying to get a construction truck and delivery truck with rebar and stuff on it.
I've done it for fire trucks, so yeah, I know.
There you go. Okay, even better.
but if you start in April, how long is this going to take? So if you start in April,
it's a 1,500 square foot building. So
4 months.
Yeah, and then there's some landscaping. It's not a huge project. So
are we going to hit the October ribbon cutting to tie it in with next year's Pirate Fest?
Yes, we will.
That's what I was. That's why I really want to do that, and that's my goal. Is that October we're kicking it off, showing off the building to thousands of people.
Again, it's a 1,500 square foot building, so it's very small.
All right, moving right along. The new business consideration of Resolution 13-02, Budget Amendment Number 1 for fiscal year 2013-2014.
Susan Harris, Finance Director. When the budget was approved in April, I had mentioned that if the city or county millage rate went up, that would improve our budget, and it has by $162,000 when the city adopted the 7.9 millage rate. In addition to that, we have saved some money with our insurance budget, quite a lot of money, $44,000. I was very conservative with the preliminary budget and the final approved budget. After our budget was approved, we got the numbers back from Plastridge, and they were able to beat the PIDGET proposal by $6,000. So between that insurance cost saving with the new broker and the budget over conservatism, we have an extra $44,000. So we're coming to the board tonight to allocate the $206,150 additional revenue that we have for this year's budget. And the staff has recommended five items, one of which you've already approved, and that is the executive director's salary and auto allowance. That would account for $8,810. In addition, we need to increase our budget a little bit for direct incentive payments to developers by another $14,000. We have on the salary proposed hiring of a special events marketing economic development assistant. We had it for $35,000. After Vivian did all the interviews and based on the amount of work we have, she feels that starting salary should be $40,000 rather than $35,000, and that is just slightly above mid-range for that position. That would be another $6,132. The rest we wanted to allocate to add more money to property and land acquisitions, to bring that budget from $1.2 million to $1.3 million, and also based on having a new legal counsel, we wanted to increase that budget by another $77,000 from $85,000 to $162,000. So those are the 5 items that we would like the board to consider for the use of that $206,000.
Why is that the last one jumped so high from 85 to adding 77 to 162,000, you said?
Right. It doesn't have to be that high. We weren't sure what we were facing at the time in terms of what firm you would choose and what the hourly rate would be.
Well, I heard firms here saying they could probably come under 85,000. Why do you want to throw another 77,000?
That wasn't the one you chose, though.
I know, but still, they were like $10 apart in hourly rates, anywhere from $250 to $225.
When we had Lewis Longman, our legal fees were very high. I will tell you that. They were exceptionally high. So we were doing a lot of land acquisition at the time, and we were doing a lot of that stuff with in-town partners. So that may have accounted for a lot of it. But the difference in hourly rate is between Jim's firm and their firm is about $100 an hour. So just to let you know.
But still, the guy, we almost picked Robinson. They were like, we think we can come under that 85,000.
Right.
But we didn't pick them.
We didn't pick him.
We didn't pick them, but they were only $10 or $15 different than the one we picked.
Yeah.
You know, I can tell you right here, they were.
Mayor, could I just say one thing?
$250, $25 an hour.
Mayor, one comment, please.
Yeah.
I support staff's recommendation. I think it's a sound budgeting recommendation from staff. I don't care what anybody represented to you tonight. They're not going to do it for what it was budgeted for because of the crossover of responsibilities that you currently enjoy. So I do support staff's recommendation.
What we can do is, with the last quarter, if we're not using that funding, we can come to you and say, let's roll it over into something else, which we can do a budget amendment towards the end of the year, roll it into economic development or another project to do something else. We don't have to keep it in this line item if we're not using it. But we want to cover our bases. We don't want to be short. That's the only thing.
Well, you got the money there, so you can always roll it in there, too. Just roll it out.
You can do that, but if you put it in land acquisition and you spend it on land, then you don't have it for legal.
Okay. Well, I guess the board's okay.
I'd just like to make a comment. I wish you had brought that up to our attention, this Lewis Longman Walker, that we incurred overruns in cost with them. They were very high. I mean, that's something maybe the board should have known.
I wouldn't call it an overrun. We were doing a lot of land acquisition, just so you know. So we had a lot of real estate transactions happening.
So was it proportional to what they were doing?
I think it was.
Or were they
proportional.
overcharging
We
us?
purchased the marina. We purchased some large properties, Ocean Breeze, which is a large transaction. We were working on 4th and 5th. We did the in-town partnership, which was a huge back and forth, which ended up in nothing.
Was there fees in relation to what they were doing? Were they reasonable?
Yes, but
Okay.
They are not, as Jim said, we want to be cautious because there's no crossover. That's all.
Can I ask you a question, please? Jim, you made a statement, and I want you to state it again. Did you say because you're our city attorney, you were able to professionally give us, I'll use the term discount, because you were wearing both hats? Is that the statement? Am I understanding what you said?
I wouldn't use that terminology, but there's an economy of effort in providing services to both entities, of course. I mean, that's always the case. But a lot of that goes to the fact that there's information that I possess because I've been the city attorney for a long period of time that I don't need to research. So you
I'm
don't
just
see
curious
bills for that kind of work.
I'm sorry, Jim. I'm just curious why we voted. What were we dissatisfied with? That's the part that maybe I should have brought up, and I made a mistake in the case of why I wanted to retain the law firm, the James Sheriff, as a part. What did he do wrong that we would want to change? One, the cost are right. Two, the professionalism. I did not hear anyone from this commission say that the law firm of James Sheriff's involved with was not a good law firm, did anything improper. So I just find it, I'll use a slang term, amusing that we make such a change. But that's my opinion.
Well, yes.
I'm ready to make a motion.
Good. Make a motion.
I move that we approve Resolution 13-02, Budget Resolution Number 1, FY 213-214.
Is there a motion and second discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to keep that salary, the starting salary, at $35,000, not $40,000, on that assistant marketing director. Is that the title?
Could it be done? Could it be done? I don't.
Yeah, she hadn't hired her yet.
I understand your reasoning, but my reasoning is we can always go up. We can never really go down.
Yeah, you can go up, but only in increments of 3%.
Well, that's the starting salary.
That's not part of my motion, though. You have to make another motion.
I second Woodruff's.
I have a motion and second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So the motion unanimous.
I'd like to make a motion that we keep that salary at $35,000.
We just passed
We
the
just
thing to
passed
go.
it.
We just passed to go to 40. Okay. Item B, consideration of short sale for HAP recipient Christian Gallagher.
This is in the preserve. This is a short sale. This is one of the typical ones that you have seen before you, where we have given down payment assistance. This was the project where it was a for sale project, and then the developer switched it to a rental project, unfortunately. The CRA will recognize $4,000 out of this short sale. We received all the documentation that we require for this short sale.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So the motion unanimous.
Mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to, on the previous vote, I'd like to have my vote show no.
Very good. Please correct the vote on the previous, on the budget. Resolution 1302. Board Member Castillo votes no. Executive Director's report.
Any questions?
Project status update. Anything to update?
I had a couple quick questions, and I apologize for the questions. It's just I didn't get a chance to read everything until recently. The meetings that you've had with concerning the retail with MLK and that corridor,
Right.
Are they moving forward?
They are. The landowners are still. There's a landowner that is holding off, or they're agreeing to sell, but not on the timeline that they're agreeable to. So we'll see.
Okay. And then, do we have a target time for LSSA to come before this board?
They don't need to come before this board. Just so you know, they don't need to, unless you want them to. They said they're going to submit site plan in November to the city. So
they'll be before, obviously, most likely December or November, late November, early December, before P&D.
I will tell you that they're saying that they're having a hard time making the project work financially, which is kind of shocking to me, since everyone else seems to be making rental projects work everywhere around us at much higher land costs. So
much higher land costs. Those were questions I have, and we're still on the target dates that you've got outlined here for the projects. I'm happy about that.
We have a permit for the marina.
And your interview process with the marketing assistant, you've got it narrowed down to some finalists?
I have offered the position to somebody who's extremely qualified, years of experience with merchants and large major events. And that's why I don't want to get somebody in the door and then the economy being good, you know.
Thank you. That's all I had.
Yes, Mr. Patrick.
I have a question about where do we stand on Canner and Pintaluga? And
the mayor, he disclosed he had a meeting with them. We seem to be on a better track with them. They are in, at least verbally, we're in agreement on some terms amongst themselves. Now we need to get in agreement on terms of land costs. And that's what I'm waiting for, basically, from the owner of the property. What does he want for his land? And that's really what I need from him to bring to you. So, and we'll need to get an appraisal on it and bring that forward.
Speaking of appraisals, the one he submitted, that seemed to be kind of strange. I'm not really an appraisal person, but it seemed it had weird numbers on it that didn't make much sense.
It's not an appraisal you could use for lending purposes or building purposes. It's a speculative appraisal. It's not an appraisal that you could use for any purpose other than what could this possibly look like in 10 years from now, 5 years from now. That's all it is. A bank would not accept it. An equity partner wouldn't accept it. So it's not useful for those kind of things.
So
it's a what if.
It was a negotiating ploy.
Possibly, yeah. But really, honestly, we have to, by state statute, we have to get an appraisal on that parcel. Anyway, that's just the way it is.
What would be a good time frame on this? Because it seems to me that it's been dragging on and on and on, and so we have our half acre in the mix. How long should we just let that hang out there before, if it doesn't go through, pulling it back?
He's got a very good attorney representing him now who's excellent in development. She represents some of the top developers in South Florida. She's talking to him some sense into him about what real estate is valued at, and so I want to give it a little more time. And Howard Canner seems to be hanging in there, so I don't want to call Uncle yet. So, I mean, there's no harm, no foul at this point. I say give it, another month.
Having met with them, I'll tell you my concept. There's some, as she said, they got Bonnie Miskell. You might know Bonnie Miskell's come before this group many times. She's very good at what she does, and she knows exactly where it stands now. We have some gaps as far as how much we want to pay for the land. That's a tough one there. I don't know if we can go to where they want to go. We also have a gap with the Howard, or the people the other side who want some help paying for the parking, and I don't know where that comes from. So I'm kind of came away from the meeting not with a really good feeling, because they're asking for a lot from us. So it'll depend on it. But I think we should know. Bonnie Miskell said she would put this together and give a proposal to Vivian, and that would be brought to us. So I would think we could have something by the next meeting. We should have a proposal, see where we are, and we'll see where we want to go from there.
Once we know what the gaps are, then we could start to work on how to deal with that. But we don't know what that is yet. So that's what we're in the dark, basically.
Well, you'll know soon, because she's going to bring you that.
Yeah, that's what we're waiting for.
Then you'll have to decide, can we go there or can't we? That's what the board will have to decide.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yep. But I think we could have that next month, because knowing Bonnie, I would think she'd bring you something soon.
Pushing. Yep.
Stand adjourned.
Oh, no, future.
Oh, that's future.
Yeah, I'd like to say something.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'd like for the next CRA meeting, I think it's the 14th of November, I'd like a joint report from Vivian and Jim, and their their recommendations on what came forth from the Del Rey case, from the decision of the courts. I think it's something that maybe we should hear it, learn from it, and keep in the back of our minds.
Del Rey case about what?
The audit.
The audit.
Oh, the audit. Oh.
So I'd like that.
Our audit went great.
No, I'm not questioning. You're
No.
jumping.
You want to
I'm
know
talking about them.
what
It's a
happened.
learning process, what they go through, what they experience, what was the good, the bad, and what should we be aware of.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
We stand adjourned.